Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to wealthwithmatthew.com. You're watching Millionaire in the Making. I'm Matthew Harris, coming to you today from Miami Beach, Florida, and really excited about today's episode. We're going to dive into one of the most fundamental lessons that I have learned that's literally turned my life upside down, and it's something that you're going to really need to master as you go into 2013 to have an absolutely unstoppable year for you and for your family. Now, first and foremost, let me just say this. I really hope that you and your family and your friends and the people closest to you had an absolutely amazing Christmas yesterday. Today's the 26th, the day after Christmas, so it's definitely important to talk about that. In our household, Christmas is a very special time for a couple of reasons. The first reason being the reason for the season. The second being the fact that it's my wife's birthday the day before Christmas. So it's a non-stop party here. And so we just got through with that, just really excited and really thinking about the blessings that we have been able to be blessed with this year and even the last couple of years as well. It's just been an incredible, crazy ride. But the big part of what's been able to create success for us has been goal setting, and that's what we're going to be talking to you today about. Because yesterday, for example, every Christmas I do this. I sit down and actually pull up my journal and I start writing and I start creating what I want to have happen in the next year for me and for my wife and for our family. I learned this a couple years ago, and quite frankly, I learned that it was important to do, but I didn't learn how to do it right. So I've been doing this for years, but it hasn't been something that I've really mastered until now, because now this is really exciting for us, because I know that what I put on paper and what the plans that we create to follow through with this can literally alter our life, because that's exactly what has happened. But when I first got started with goal setting, I listened to all the training by all the gurus and listened to all the CDs and tapes and all this kind of stuff, and I did this for years. I'd go through all the goal setting exercises and nothing seemed to happen. I'd get really excited at the beginning, and then that year would pass and nothing would happen. Then I'd do the same thing again, that year would pass, nothing would happen. I mean, it's just the same thing frustratingly recurring over and over again in my life. Finally to the point where last year around this time, we were blown away. I mean, we were just really hurting, and we had to make something happen. And I started focusing not just on writing down what it was that I wanted, but how I was going to get it. This is a key point, and this is what I'm going to really focus on in this video today. Because here's the truth of the matter. So many of us look at goal setting as if it's a Christmas wish list, like it was when we were a kid. I remember sending my parents this list every Christmas of what I wanted for Christmas. I never got anything on that list. Well, a few things here and there over the years, but it was a long list. In comparison to what I put down, I don't think I got a lot of what I got. So I started to get really jaded about this whole Christmas wish list thing. But so many of us treat our goals the same way we used to create these Christmas wish lists. Now, if you were a kid and you got all the stuff on your Christmas wish list, then good for you. That's great. That's fantastic for you. For the rest of us out there, it's a little different experience. But think about it. When you've written down a goal, how many times have you done this? Where you sit down, write this goal, get excited about what you can accomplish, and then it doesn't happen. And you kind of leave it there, and years pass, and maybe do the same thing over and over again, just like I did. And nothing seems to actually happen from this goal setting thing. I mean, you're writing it down, you're getting excited about it, and then nothing happens. Can I tell you what changed for me? It was when I started to focus specifically on what the goal was. First of all, that's a key thing, but also putting a plan of action together to accomplish that. So when I sit down and write a goal, I don't just write out a wish list. And for years, I could be quite frank, my goal list was a wish list. It was a hope list. And if you've been watching the videos, you'll hear me say this over and over again. Hope is not a strategy. It's a wonderful thing, and you can't go through life without hope. But you cannot just think that hope alone is going to get you to your goals. You need to have a specific plan of action. So here's what I started to do. I started diving into the technology behind goal setting, and I call it technology for a reason, because there really is a science to this. And the person that I feel has the biggest handle on goal setting is a gentleman named Brian Tracy. He wrote a book called Goals. Really simple, Goals. And you need to read this book. It literally shifted my wife and I's life. She read it first. She was going through some business training course, and it was a requirement for them to read it. And she said, "You need to read this book." I read it and I couldn't put it down. It was really the missing piece for me when it came to goal setting, because Brian lays out several different steps, strategies, and techniques that will help literally transform the whole goal setting process. But not just transform the process, they'll actually transform the results that you get because of the specific action items. And I'm not going to go through all of them in this video. You can pick up the book and read it for yourself. I can't do justice to what Brian talks about. But there is one specific thing that I definitely will share with you. Two. First of all, if you're not sold on the importance of goals, you need to be. All right, and here's why. Here's why. Maybe you've heard this, maybe you haven't, but there was a study that was done with Harvard Business School graduates from the MBA program back in 1979, and they asked the graduating class how many of them actually had goals. and how many of them had written specific goals, and how many of them had plans on how they were going to achieve those goals. Now, a certain portion of that class actually had some goals, but they hadn't written them down. But only 3% of that entire graduating class had specific goals with actionable plans written down to help them accomplish that goal. Now, 10 years later, they came back to the same class and asked them, okay, let's see where you guys are at in your life. Remember, this is Harvard Business School. This is not some school down the street. This is a very, very hard school to get into. It's an elite school. People that get into the school, their brains. I mean, these are hardworking individuals that their minds are functioning at a very, very high level. So already you have an idea that people we're talking about, very high functioning people. But when they sat down with them 10 years after they graduated, they noticed some huge differences between the groups of people that had written specific goals with an action plan and those that didn't. Now, that group of 3% that actually had these goals and mapped out and how their plan actually were earning 10 times more than the entire other 97% of Harvard Business School graduates. This is huge. You talk about getting results. That was basically the separating factor between these two groups. So yes, goals are important if you know how to do them right. Like I said, so many of us spend time making wish lists. That's not how this works. Goal setting is a specific action where you write down what it is that you want. And then you follow that with a plan of action. Get the book by Brian Tracy to really give you some more of the details. But let me share with you kind of what it looks like from my end. For mapping out 2013, not only did I sit down and follow through Brian's steps, but I also sat down and went through them. But the key thing that I had done before that I haven't done years past where I didn't hit my goals was to write down the action plan. For example, if you want to make $100,000 in 2013, many people write down this goal. They want to lose weight or whatnot, and they leave it at that. What you need to do is go a step further and figure out what resources you need. What skill set do you need to develop? If you want to lose weight, okay, do you need to go to the gym? Are you going to go on some kind of workout plan? You're going to get a personal trainer? How long are you going to do this for? How many days a week are you going to be committed to working out? What kind of nutrition plan are you going to be on? Or if you're in my company, you're on the challenge, you're doing all this stuff naturally anyway. But point is, either way, you need to have a specific plan on how you're going to reach those goals. Let's take it to another step. If you're looking at making $100,000 next year, what is it that you're going to do? First of all, do you have the vehicle in your current line of work? Well, are you able to make $100,000? And if you had a job and you see people that are making $100,000 in that job, then you look at what it is that they're doing to get to that income level. And is that something that you feasibly can accomplish this year? Just because you set out a goal doesn't mean that you're going to be able to accomplish it just because you wrote it down. Oh, I'm going to make $1 million this year, and I'm going to send it to Santa, and he's going to help me out with his goal. That's not how this works. Remember, not only does it have to be specific, but also has to be reasonable based on the skill set and the positioning that you are in your life right now. If you're in a business where people are earning 6 figures, 7 figures a year, now you have some vertical opportunity. And so you're looking at something that's a little bit more realistic and fit better for your situation. But you need to go a step beyond that. What skills do you need to master in order to make yourself worth the $100,000? So just being in a business where there already are people that are earning a significant income does not mean that you will either, even if you take action. Because you can take action and get the bad results. You can take action and get good results. It's based on the kind of action that you take and the consistency that you take that action with. So let's back this up. What kind of skill sets do you need to develop this year? And I'm hoping that you're writing this down, because these are probing questions that I've had to ask myself, that leaders all around the industry are asking themselves right now as they look to grow to that next level in 2013. Are you asking yourselves these hard questions? The other part that you also need to look at outside of your action plan is whose help do you need to help you reach your goal? Who do you need to be associated with? For example, if you're building a sales organization, that means you need to have leaders on your team. So how are you going to find leaders? How are you going to develop leaders? Guys, this is very specific. This is like going to the bank and saying, okay, I'd like $1 million to fund my business, and here's my business plan to show you that this is a viable business. You have to really back up that proposition to the bank. I mean, you'd be crazy to walk in there and say, oh, I want $1 million for my business, but I really have no idea how I'm going to make the $1 million. Right? You wouldn't do that. But so many of us do that when we sit down with goal setting. So goal setting works if you have the right expectation of what it is that you're going to achieve and how you're going to do it. So do the same thing you do with the bank. Put down your business plan of exactly what it's going to take to help you reach your financial goals in 2013, doing it specifically and following it up with action. So I really, really wish that 2013, and I place this in mind, that 2013 is going to be the game changer for you. It's going to be the year that you step out of your comfort zone, where you take massive action, but you focus on growing yourself to the position where you are worth the kind of income that you aspire to achieve. Because the truth of the matter is, your income follows your your personal growth. So my wish for you is that in 2013 you take massive, mind-numbing action on a specific action plan to help you transform your life in this year alone. You can totally do it, but it starts with setting goals, getting specific about what it is that you want to achieve, and taking that action. And make sure you get that book by Brian Tracy. It'll definitely have a tremendous impact in your life. So I hope that this video has impacted you today, even if in just a little bit. Again, this is Matthew Harris from Miami Beach, Florida, wishing you the absolute best as we go into this new year. Take care, and like I always say, dream, then find a way. God bless everyone.